In today's session, we're going to continue on the series on leadership and workforce alignment and engagement. Again, I can't stress enough the importance of getting alignment and engagement throughout the organization if you want to become a high-performing organization. It's a necessary condition to achieve that high performance. In today's session, we're going to talk about positive influence through coaching techniques, and we want to understand what are the techniques to influence leadership and to persuade peers to take positive actions that are going to lead to breakthrough improvement. And we talk about breakthrough improvement, we're talking about improvement that nobody believes is achievable, and it's significant, and it's done in a relatively short period of time. We're talking weeks or just a few months. When we talk about influencing leadership, we need to understand that change can be challenging, and it's a necessary condition to achieve that breakthrough improvement. The keys to effectively influencing leadership include: one, understanding their perspective. So we need to understand what is their current perspective and what is their current mindset. So where are they in terms of mindset and where the organization is and where the organization can be. Then we need to understand and develop a compelling case together. So we need to speak with data and use information and data to support our case. And then we want to engage in constructive dialogue. That constructive dialogue is done through using what we call the spin technique and using the Socratic method that we talked about in previous sessions. Then we want to build our internal advocates. So we want to have other people on our team that can help influence the leadership within the organization. So you can't do it alone. So you need those internal advocates to help you to influence leadership. Then we want to establish an ambitious target, the one that we believe that can't be achieved and it's not attainable. And it needs to be large enough that it starts to challenge our current way of doing business. And again, to get that breakthrough and significant improvement, it needs to be something outside of what our current belief system is, so that we start changing the mindset, and we need to look at the organization from a different perspective in order to do that. Then we need to address risk and concerns. So of course, with any change, there's going to be risk. So risk is something that could negatively affect us from achieving the goal, or create negative effects that we don't thoroughly understand that could affect the business negatively. Then we want to use reference environments of success. So where has this been done, and show examples of where it's been done in other environments to help support your case. Next, let's talk about spin selling. So spin is a technique that was developed by Neil Rackman in his book in 1988 called Spin Selling. And it's a method that emphasizes asking questions in a structured, thoughtful manner that can lead you through a progression of understanding of the current situation and recognize a need for a solution. And SPIN stands for situation, problem, implication, and then needs payoff. So it's a structured method for getting buy-in. Now, if we look at spin selling in the 4 steps, the situation questions start to gather basic information about the current situation, the business, and the need. These questions help establish the foundation for the conversation. Next is problem questions. So uncover the challenges, issues, or pain points that the organization is facing. It helps you understand the specific problems that the organization needs to address, and really where's leadership relative to the problems that you see and the problems that they see. Most likely you're not going to be aligned, so you need to get alignment. So the problem questions help us get alignment. Then implication questions. So we need to understand what are the implications of the problems that the company is facing. So we need to explore these in a systematic method and help leadership understand the seriousness and urgency of these problems and what it's causing for the organization. Then last is the needs payoff questions. So these aim to tie the leadership needs to the features and benefits of achieving the ambitious target. It helps leadership see how a solution can address the specific problems and improve the company's competitive position. So this is the spin selling methodology: situation, problem, implication, need, payoff. Next, we want to review the Socratic method. So in previous sessions, we talked about the Socratic method and applying them. And again, be prepared. So before you go into a meeting or discussion, have a specific outcome you want to achieve and make sure you have all your information and you're prepared before the meeting or discussion. Also, never tell the person you're speaking with that they're wrong or don't know what they're talking about, because they might have a different perspective or a different mindset. We need to understand that using the Socratic method to see where they are relative to perspective and mindset. Then use the appropriate types of questions to create the conversation. Our open, probing, and leading questions. Use examples and analogy and storytelling to get a change in thinking required to change the mindset. And then practice, practice, practice. I recommend that you practice with peers before you go to leadership and start practicing this technique with leadership. Next, persuading peers. So it's a little bit different when we're persuading peers versus influencing leadership. So this can also be challenging, but it's also a necessary condition to achieve breakthrough improvement. So to effectively persuade peers, we need to, again, understand their current perspective and mindset. So just like we did in the leadership model, understanding their perspective is so important. Then you need to build relationships. So you want to develop a trusting relationship with your peers. So they believe in what you do, they have confidence in you, they believe that you know what you're talking about. Then lead by example. So achieve positive outcomes through demonstrated actions. So again, that positive outcomes, showing people that it can be done, you can get positive impacts by the actions that you're taking. Then communicate effectively. So use data, use storytelling techniques to get communication and to get, again, that buy-in from your peers. Highlight the benefits of doing the changes. So you need to explain the win-win solution. So how it's going to be a win for the company and how it's going to be a win for them as an employee. Also address their risks and concerns. So we need to make sure that we address any negative consequences of the ideas that we're promoting. And then use reference environments of success. So if you have reference environments out there that you can use to demonstrate where other companies have done this, that's a great example to help persuade peers. And then provide training. So it's extremely important that we provide training on the concepts that we're promoting so they have a deep understanding of the techniques. Yes, they don't need to be experts. You need to be the expert. They need to have good knowledge of the techniques and processes you're going to implement and the outcomes of those techniques and processes on the organization. It's so critical. Then lastly, to achieve alignment and buy-in, we need to influence leadership and persuade those peers for positive change. That requires patience, empathy, and effective communication. So don't try to rush things. You need to be patient. And patience will pay off if you are persuasive and you can influence the right people. It's a difficult process, so don't expect complete buy-in. It takes practice, it takes perseverance, it takes patience to get this achievement of alignment and buy-in. Then make sure you address their concerns. So it's so important that you address their concerns and don't offer them solutions. Use the Socratic method to let them come up with the solutions. And then use your spin selling techniques to ask the right questions. And then we want to get quick and impactful wins. We want to create momentum towards that ambitious target by getting short-term significant wins. We get people on board, we get people aligned, we start to get that momentum, and then that momentum will create more and more positive change. So it's like a snowball rolling downhill. So it starts off small and slow, and as it rolls down the hill, it picks up speed and it picks up size, which is momentum. Okay, that's what we're looking for when we go through this process. And then lastly, we want to talk about sustainability. So it's so critical that when we put solutions in place, they're sustainable. So our belief is that a process improvement is not an improvement unless it's sustainable. So sustainability is ensuring the improvement doesn't backslide to previous conditions. So typically we're using the PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act cycle. We're doing rapid plan, do, check, acts and getting success. And it's going to take us from one level to the next level. So when we move up this next level, we don't want to backslide to our previous conditions. So we need to put a wedge in place to stop the backsliding. The wedge here is all the things that we talked about in previous videos in terms of visual management, in terms of building accountability into the process, okay, putting standard work in process so people continue to take the right actions, putting the right measurements in place to change the behaviors and create the new habits. Those are extremely important to achieve sustainability. So that's our session for today. Again, connect with me on LinkedIn, visit our website, go to our YouTube channel where we have lots of videos on how to become a high-performing organization.